What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pleeka. Today we're going to figure out the ending of Westworld. No, we're not. I am going to be talking about Westworld as if you know the basics of Westworld, so if you haven't seen it at all, this is not the video for you. This is just for someone that, like me, that's like still fucking watching Westworld and you want to go through all of it and take notes again. This is for you. But yeah, so obviously spoilers up ahead is what I'm getting at. But so this whole thing started, I was watching Westworld on Tubi all the time. I was getting really into it again lately, and I was like, fuck, this is getting really, like, I should fucking rewatch Westworld. This is fun. And then they just started putting more and more and more stuff on Tubi, so I got to see it less and less, and it was just getting annoying. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna buy them all. I don't know exactly how long it took, but I was just been slowly watching it at my own pace, taking notes, knowing I'd do a video eventually, and I fucking finished it last night. Golly gee. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go through every season here, give you my little bit of notes here and there, and then at the end, we're gonna go through some unanswered questions. And then I think maybe I'll rank the seasons as well. But alright, so starting off in Westworld Season 1, basically kind of for the first season, I kind of just wrote down questions that I have for Westworld. So I don't have a lot of notes for the first season. It's mostly notes for 3 and 4 when it starts to get really confusing. But we'll come back to 1 through those. You know what I mean? It all just kind of merges. I think Reddit helped the show so much, like Reddit built Season 1 basically, but I kind of think Reddit, as much as I loved watching the show, doing Reddit theories, making videos, all this shit, I do think it kind of destroyed it because at least it was still fun, but everyone got so into it that I think we kept disappointing ourselves with what we wanted the show to be and how bigger we wanted it to be and the reveals and everything. I kind of think Reddit kind of fucked up the show for people. I also think 100% it was how long it took to make the show. The couple year breaks in between each season definitely didn't help it at all. But sometimes I kind of, like, especially on this last rewatch that I just did, not having to care about any of the theories or anything, just watching it, each episode, just and knowing this is what Westworld is, there won't be another episode, I kind of enjoyed it a lot more. It was really good. I mean, not like you think the show's bad, but you know what I mean? Like, it was just fun rewatching it this time. Not really having to theorize. As much fun as it was while it was on, I do kind of wonder if we didn't get as into that, we would have just accepted the show for what it became more. My first kind of question I have here is, how many extra pieces do they have for each host? Or do they just, and then this kind of gets answered in the other seasons because they just keep making bodies and bodies and bodies, and obviously they probably do that in Westworld as well. But it just made me wonder, like, when Teddy dies for the 84th time, do they like, oh, here we have a new Teddy nipple that we gotta put on? Like, do they just have like a drawer of nipples that they can just replace with each person? Or like, here's an arm, here's a finger, here's a penis, you know what I mean? I'm curious what the storage situation is like for the host parts, and if it's like labeled like these are Dolores's arms and legs, and then this is Maeve's arms and legs, and then this is Clementine's arms and legs, you know what I mean? I don't think it even is close to that. I think it's just like rebuild a body, put the fucking pearl in there, but I just wondered. Okay, one of my favorite moments in Season 1 is when Hector gets his little striptease with the guy. He puts in his earbuds while Armistice is in the background, like, killing the dude. He's just fucking grinding his dick on Hector.
Just you and me now, my friend.
This stuff it's always weird to me, like, Ford spying on all the people. Like, he spies using Bernard on Teresa a lot. He used some of the other hosts to listen to Hale. He reveals that he was spying on her when he freezes all the hosts at that, like, weird little dinner, and he scares her right before he has Bernard kill her and shit. It's just weird. I get it, he needs to do it, and it's like, everything is necessary. It's just so creepy, especially if you think about it. He had to pretend to be like Bernard's wife and was like doing those voice calls with her, and I think even when it reveals that to him, you kind of hear Anthony Hopkins' voice like peek through that a little bit.
I suppose I'm glad for you. At least you have a way of forgetting.
I don't forget. It's always there.
You're not lying to me, are you, Bernard?
But that is just weird. You're kind of a weird guy, Ford. Although Anthony Hopkins is a pretty weird dude too. So this has always been disappointing to me, and by always I mean I guess since like last year when Season 4 ended. But the Man in Black and Lawrence stuff,
motherfucker,
it just never really goes anywhere. I love them in Season 1. Such a great pair in Season 1. Season 2 is fun, but but you're always just kind of waiting for it to be like a little more. I thought when the whole Maeve situation happens with them in season 2 that was going to lead to some cool shit, and it doesn't really. But that's always disappointed me because there's such a fun pair in this. And then he even said, like, it seems like Lawrence should be the one to kill him in season 4. It'd been cool if they could have integrated that a little bit, or even had, like, when the Man in Black becomes a host, like when Hale does that, if she somehow used like Lawrence's pearl to do, I don't know, something to connect them. I don't know, but I always thought there was a really, really fun pair. So it kind of disappoints me rewatching it, being like, oh, this doesn't really go anywhere. He just pops up in season 3 for like a little cameo, and that's it.
Isn't it great to see an old friend?
This really excited me on my rewatch. So at the end, at the end of season 1, when Dolores and the Man in Black are fighting, and it's revealed kind of to her that he's William and blah blah blah. She gives him like a whole big speech.
You will lie with the rest of your kind in the dirt. Your dreams forgotten, your horrors effaced. Your bones will turn to sand, and upon that sand, a new God will walk. One that will never die. Because this world doesn't belong to you. Or the people who came before belongs to someone who is yet to come.
That I was like, oh shit! Like I kind of I remember that. I mean, like, oh, it's the hosts. That's what I thought before. But now seeing through all the shows, she's talking about Christina. I mean, at least it seems like it. It seems like all in season 1. After seeing season 4, Ford and Dolores are kind of talking about Christina, like they know she's gonna become her. And I know in the show they're talking about her becoming Wyatt.
Did you find what you were looking for? And do you understand who you will need to become if you ever want to leave this place?
But seeing the whole show, it feels that way. So that was kind of cool. Like, I don't know if they even knew they were going to do the Christina storyline, but that was cool. I thought that was fun that was in season 1 of the show. This is I don't know if this really, like, matters in the grand scheme of things for Westworld or not, but did Ford know that Logan was, like, that William slapped the horse on the ass and made Logan be lost out there for Akisha to find later on? Because, like, he was keeping his eye on Akisha, and he kind of knows everything that goes on in the park. So I was kind of curious if Ford was just kind of a dick and was like, well, I'll let Logan stay out there a little bit. Logan can be out in the sun just a little bit more. Why not? He can handle it. He seems like a strong dude. What's the worst that could happen? He gets addicted to drugs and commits suicide? Overdoses on the drugs? That's never gonna happen.
You're being an asshole.
This is the stuff that I feel like they don't think about when they talk about the hosts remembering all the shit from the humans and rebuilding them and blah, 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 blah. Does Dolores remember what Arnold's dick looks like? And if she does, why does she know what Arnold's dick looks like? Because she built Bernard, and the only reason I'm asking this is because Bernard had sex with Teresa, so he had to have a dick. And did Dolores build Arnold's the exact dick? And do you think Bernard could have fucked Arnold's wife when he met her? And she would have been like, holy shit, this is the same dick? How good is Dolores at making dicks? I guess we'll never know.
I remembered you once before. So I remembered you again.
And then at the end of season 1, Dolores becomes Wyatt, and all hell breaks loose. It gets fucking crazy, dude. It gets nuts. So we got the end credit scene with Armistice. This is our first end credit scene of Westworld, and ultimately it's really nothing, but she has her arm stuck, she rips it out, she shoots more dudes, and it's just kind of fun. It's kind of more like just the chaos of what season 2 is going to become, but it's still fun. I really like that. I love the end credit scenes of Westworld. Stuff like that is just my favorite bits. As much as I know I talked about the theorizing getting in the way, some of that end credit teasing shit is, it's what I live for. It's kind of like that silly Marvel end credit scene bit that they've installed into me that I'm like, fuck, an end credit scene, just more little bits, even though this could have been in the show? Cool, sign me up. But moving on to season 2 now, Bernard is so dramatic and with his little flashback memory shit. When he's talking to, I don't even remember his name, but he's talking to the dude in the opening, the Skarsgård guy, and he's like, I killed them all. I killed all the hosts. When they're looking into the ocean at everybody and you see Teddy down there, he didn't kill them all. I mean, yes, they're not there anymore, but they moved on into the Valley Beyond or whatever we're calling it now, you know? It's not like they died. He's just so dramatic about that. And yeah, maybe he doesn't remember at this point that, but you're just so dramatic, Bernard.
I killed them. All of them.
They do call the Valley Beyond a weapon, and I still don't understand that. Maybe it's because she used it to take over the human race, like she knows them, but like it wasn't the Valley Beyond that was the weapon. I hate that they used that.
Doesn't matter what you call it, I know we're going to find them. An old friend was foolish enough to show me long ago. And it's not a place. It's a weapon.
Oh, some of my favorite bits, and I know this used to be episodes that I would complain about back in the day, the little side episodes. Like, we got the Akichida episode, we got the Shogun World episode, stuff like that. I appreciated so much more in this watch. Like I said previously, just like knowing these are the episodes, there won't be any more. Just watching it and enjoying it for what it is, which I should have done back in the day. I should have. But just doing it now, it was a lot of fun. These are some of my favorite episodes. And like now rewatching the show, honestly, I probably won't rewatch the series for a while. But if I was going to watch some episodes here and there, these would be the ones that I would turn on now.
Captured by samurai cop killers. Fuck me.
This fucking confused the shit out of me. And like, it's like, ugh, what is your plan, Dolores? How can you actually plan all this shit if you're doing this shit? Maybe it's because her emotions are getting in the way, I don't know. But so Dolores was just gonna kill Hale in front of her dad and Stubbs, which would have ruined her plan to become Hale. When she has her dad held up and like they're in the Delos offices and they're all fighting in there, she was just gonna fucking kill Hale right there. This is before she pretended to be Hale and got in the other group, which Stubbs is in, and Bernard, like, it would have fucked everything up. It would have fucking, in her body would have been on the floor. People would have found it unless she was gonna take that one body away. It just seems stupid. I get it for the show at the moment and all that, but in the grand scheme of things, that kind of boggled my mind. That doesn't really make sense that she was gonna do that.
Dolores? Is that you, baby?
Also, it's really funny. There's a part towards the end of season 2 where Felix and Sylvester are carrying, I think, Maeve and Sizemore. I think they're carrying Maeve and Sizemore in like this little wagon thing. And for some reason, it just totally reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove with them carrying her. And that just really cracked me up while watching it this time. Stubbs just lets Dolores leave. He could have fucking stopped everything. No, he didn't know that Bernard was going to come fucking get him back in the next season and all that. But Stubbs could have saved everything right there. Oh yeah, and then we got the Man in Black end credit scene that fucking boils my skin that we don't fucking know what happens with this shit. Oh, it annoys me. So we have the end credit scene. He goes down the elevator that we saw him going down for fucking half the fucking final episode. Cuts back to Bernard and Dolores and all of them. He's still fucking, I'm in the elevator reloading my gun. But he gets down there finally. His daughter's down there. It's the whole same thing as the James Delos stuff that was going on all throughout season 2. Except it's probably going to work with him. He's probably going to be like a legit working host hybrid. Kind of like Caleb, but better maybe? I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Now, I love season 1 and 2 of Westworld. It's so much fun. I get it. You're at the parks. You got all. It's perfect. I love the mixed timelines. I love the reveals, the mysteries. It's so good. Season 3 and 4, first view of season 3, I tried to like it, but I did not like it. I hated it. Plus, I loved the show. We were doing podcasts with my dad and Hess, and it was just so much fun. And then it kind of fell apart here. But watching it this time, I really, really enjoyed season 3. Season 4, the first 2 episodes, fucking boring knowing everything already. Those 2 episodes suck. It's a big setup. Basically, like, hey, you didn't want to watch season 3, kind of here's a recap. We're just going to do it really fast. So I didn't like that. But the rest of season 4 I did enjoy. But now we're on season 3. The Rico app. Make money, motherfucker.
Make money, motherfuckers.
I get it, and that's fun, and like Sirach or Rohibam or you know what I mean. One of those guys, they made the app to control, and they're doing everything. I get it, that's fun. But it's just so silly, the make money, motherfucker. It reminds me of that movie Nerve. Like, it came out very similar times, and it just felt like the same exact thing.
Make money, motherfuckers.
So then Hale, I didn't remember this. I don't know why I didn't. But Hale blames the whole entire Westworld massacre on Bernard, and that's why Bernard is hiding, and he shaved his head, and he's fucking, hold on, I can turn into Secret Bernard. Fucking fight people. That's kind of dope. I do love, like, fucking hold on, brain dead Bernard has to go fight. That's really fun. But it's kind of fucked up. You blame the whole thing on him.
One person in particular who orchestrated that massacre murdered our founder and most of the board in cold blood. Bernard Lowe.
I do like that Bernard's, like, he was testing himself, too, to, like, see if there's a Dolores inside him because he just can't trust her. I do really appreciate the whole story of season 3 is, like, Dolores had to do what she had to do in season 1 and 2 to get out of the park, to also bring Bernard to go against her, to eventually in season 4 get her to be uploaded in the thing, to blah, 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 do all that. I don't know how her and Ford saw that or figured that out, but apparently that's kind of what they figured out, is that Bernard needed to be against her to fight her, and Maeve and all these things need to come together to all be against each other to then have Bernard and Maeve team up against Hale, put it in the thing. If that's what they really, if Ford saw that, bravo, because you Great vision. I don't know how you could see the future that well.
The odds aren't very good, Bernard. I saw that in the library. So many paths lead to the end of us, to our extinction.
I don't need to read a book to know your drives. You'll try to kill all of them, and I can't let that happen.
I know. If I were a human, I would have let you die. But it'll take both of us if we're going to survive. But not as allies, not as friends. You'll try to stop me. Both of us will probably die. But our kind will have endured.
The guy at the Insight party in the first episode is like
I'm serious. We're living in a simulation.
talking about a simulation and saying maybe we're in a simulation, and Dolores like walks by him and winks and is like, yo, maybe you're right. Are you all right about something? Or she's like, dee, 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 whatever the 3 brain cells things he talks about. But maybe she is confirming that this is a whole simulation. I have some things about that at the end that I for what season 5 might have been. Might annoy some people, but it's interesting. We'll get to that, though. But yeah, the simulation stuff there, once they started bringing that up, I got scared early on. Like, fuck, how much of this is going to be a simulation now? How much isn't real? It just breaks my mind a little bit. Stubbs coughing up a bullet. I love that, even though it was because he tried to commit suicide. The Game of Thrones cameo. We have Drogon there. I think it was Drogon. And then we have Dan and Dave, and they're building it. They're going to chop it up and sell it to someone in China or something like that. But that's fun. They threatened a Game of Thrones Westworld crossover for a long time. I know George R.R. Martin really wanted one. I'm sure this was to make him happy. Hale's message for Nathan is weird. We see it like 2 or 3 times, and nothing ever comes of this, but it's longer and shorter and a little different. Like, it's kind of different every once in a while. It's just a sweet message to her kid. I feel like it was just an editing thing, but I remember people having fucking crazy theories about that, and that ultimately led to nothing. It's so obvious too to me now that Dolores, Hale, and Dolores and all of them were just Doloreses. If you kind of just pay attention a lot throughout this fucking show, they just tell you things like that, and it's just straightforward. And by the end, they're like, oh, you kind of hinted at that in the first episode. You basically told me that, and it is right. They do that in almost every season. There is at least one storyline that's just so straightforward with that, and it's like their twist. When Hale starts becoming like a mother and kills that predator and takes his dog, what a fucking scene. That is such a good scene. What a great, like, to show a robot having like empathy and becoming more motherly. I love it. This is a question I've had since, I guess, like the end credit scene of Westworld season 3 was, and I get for the keeping the company around kind of things, but why didn't Dolores have a young William host? I felt like that's the William that she would have actually liked to be around for like keeping him around. You know, it's kind of like her pet, and I get it was kind of like a thing too of her like getting one over him with that, but I felt like it would have just kind of made sense if she had a young William going around. She could have even had him been like, it would have been like her Teddy in a way. And I just felt like that would have been fun. Plus, I want an excuse for more Jimmy Simpson in the show because I fucking love Jimmy Simpson. And I love him as young William. But I just felt like that would have made sense when they're like doing, even like maybe when the time jump, when you're way in the future, like no one there, everyone there is going to be like, okay, well, why the fuck does he still look like Ed Harris? He should be a skeleton, you know? So why not at that point? Why not maybe make him fucking young William? If he's gonna, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just felt like that would have made sense, and it would have been a fun way to add him into the last season. It had him also be a host, and it's a young William host. And maybe they didn't because it needs to tie into the end credit scene of season 2 that we were never gonna get to. But I don't know. I just would have really liked that, and we'll never get an answer. And maybe they were never gonna do that, and I'm stupid for thinking that, but I thought that'd be fun. I'm skipping a lot of the Solomon stuff. I took a lot of notes about him kidnapping all the people, and all, I just don't care. It's just so hard to care about Caleb's storyline in this season when you know, like, almost not a single bit of it matters for season 4. It's just so, like, I enjoyed it more watching it this time, but it's just kind of so hard to care about. Like, literally nothing matters. He's almost a new character in season 4. He could have been a new character in season 4. Could have been a new character, new actor, and it wouldn't have changed anything. And that kind of blows, to be honest. Caleb was in Park 5 for training, which confused me. And at some point later on, they mentioned that he couldn't afford to go to Westworld, so, like, they didn't have his scan or something like that. But wouldn't they have it from that? Because they just scan, like, I'm assuming the Army hats are the same as, like, the Western hats to, like, scan people. So I don't know. I thought that was just kind of weird that they did have that, and that could be your end to, like, that could have been how you got a fucking robot of him and made it kill him and then switch or something. I don't know. But they just never used that, and I feel like you could have used him being in the park previously, and he even sees Dolores, and nothing really, other than to reveal he's a good person and he stopped people from raping hosts, which, I mean, good job. But for the ultimate Westworld story, I don't know what that means. It's kind of weird that they just randomly nuked Paris for the Sirach storyline. I don't get that. It's such a bummer villain, Sirach. I don't know. I've just never cared for Sirach. Not a bit. I don't know why. It's just kind of weird that they're just like, yeah, in the future there's no Paris. Yeah, we got rid of Fridays. We got rid of Paris. That's what we got rid of. So a lot of season 3 really felt like a video game to me. Like, you got the genre episode with Aaron Paul doing all the different genres, which they could have done more with. It's fun for like 25 minutes, but then it's kind of the same shit over and over again, unfortunately. But I really liked that idea. I wish they could kind of almost redo that. But it feels so much like a video game a lot of season 3. Like, Marshawn Lynch jumps up in the fucking air, catches a grenade, and lands, and that's like his entrance, and he's like, whoa, Aaron Paul, throws it back, like...
Can you believe this shit?
It just feels like a video game entrance of, like, your buddy character a lot of season 3. Almost any time Caleb's friends show up, it feels like that. Which, speaking of them, I fucking love Marshawn Lynch's shirt. All of season, his little, like, mood shirts that he has on, that's fucking dope. I would love that. Bernard meets Arnold's wife. I talked about this a little bit earlier. That was really, really sweet. I really like that he kind of got to do that, to say goodbye to the, am I Arnold? Do I need to be Arnold? Blah, 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 stuff with him. And even just, like, let her get some peace. And, I don't know, it's a sweet moment. It doesn't really amount to really much, but it's a sweet, fun moment that I like. Verheebaram is revealed to be controlling Sirach. That is a fun moment because, like, Sirach is kind of silly. Like, I don't really like him as a villain, but knowing that it was Verheebaram controlling him the entire season does make it a little more fun, I guess. But, I don't know. He's still a lackluster villain. Dolores explains the ending of season 4 to Maeve right before she dies.
I understand your anger with them. And maybe you're right. Maybe they shouldn't exist. But is that really our decision to make? No. I was angry at first. Torn between two impulses. We can annihilate them, or we can tear down their world in the hopes we can build a new one that's truly free. Then we can bring the others back.
And yet Maeve didn't see any of that coming in season 4. We're at the end of season 3, beginning of season 4. Caleb has Verheebaram erase himself. He just erased Dolores. In season 4, we got Christina eventually becoming back Dolores and simulating everything. At what point did Dolores get her memories back if Verheebaram erased them? They never explain that to you. They don't show you that whatsoever. Literally had her mind wiped. I just don't understand. They didn't say anything about that, and that confuses me. Because, like, what if Verheebaram just remembered? Couldn't he just come back in power? Anyways, Maeve gives her new world speech again to Caleb. I love that she says it all the time in season 1. I think she says it again in season 2, but I don't remember. But then she brings it back here at the end and it makes sense. It's fun. So we got our end credit scene here. I think it's an end credit scene. Either that or it's just the last shot of the show. But the Man in Black is storming into Delos, and he's I'm gonna get him. And he goes to fight Hale. And then a robot Man in Black slits his fucking throat. And you think at that moment, oh shit, this is the end of him. Oh god, that's how they... And that would have been a better ending than what we get. Because he gets like the same fucking thing next season. But god damn, that's a cool scene. I was hoping it was going to lead to the robot, him, being the end credit scene in season 2. But the fact that it doesn't and they both just die makes it very lame. Oh boy, guys, we're on season 4. Season 4, the last season of Westworld. This is where we're hopefully going to get all of our questions answered. And I know we won't. Dolores sends the man who killed her parents in season 1 after Caleb's family. Like, the one of the dudes in the crew that, like, goes and kills Dolores' dad and mom, and the Man in Black shows up, and Teddy's, all that stuff over and over again in season 1. That dude is the guy that goes after Caleb's family in the first episode, which I didn't notice that before, but I thought that was pretty fun. A little fucked up that Dolores kind of remembers that and is like, oh, send that motherfucker over there. We'll make it similar. Like I said before, the first 2 episodes of season 4, I was like, holy shit, do I even want to do this video anymore? It was really bad. I started to get why it got canceled. But you get to season 3, you get to some Bernard stuff, you get to some Stubbs stuff. It starts getting very Westworld-y with Caleb. I'm back on board. But the first 2 episodes of this, holy shit. Plus, it's a shorter season. I think the last 2 fucking seasons are goddamn 8 episodes, for fuck's sake. But so Bernard knows the future. He knows everything that's gonna happen. He knows they're gonna fail this entire season. What a dick. I do really like, though, he fucks up some dudes in the parking lot to the song from Brad and Chucky. That part wetted my whistle a little bit. There's a Westworld Massacre Park. How fucking cool is that? That you could go and play out Westworld Season 2, basically. I know it's like, for them, what a fucked up thing, but that's so fucking cool, I thought. This is one of my favorite scenes of Season 4. It takes some time, but Maeve and Caleb get into the park. They're doing these things. They're trying to take down the tower. Caleb gets tricked. He sees Frankie, he runs to get her, he's locked in the room, her mouth opens, flies are coming out after him, and then Maeve fights the man in black, again, for the 100th time. But that shit with Caleb and Frankie, so good. Although, Aaron Paul, maybe close your mouth. There's flies flying everywhere, and I know just them landing on you, the goo's gonna get on you. But do you really want flies with goo in your mouth? Also, so we get some flashbacks where Caleb and Maeve are fighting. They're taking down all of her he bombs. He gets hurt. Why don't they travel with that laser healing thing that they use in all the other seasons? Ever. If you travel with that, you could heal anybody, and everyone's all good, apparently. But no one ever carries that fucking thing around. It doesn't make any sense. This part never made any sense to me whatsoever. Hale wants a new body, and she's gonna get in that really fucking tall thing with no arms that just walks around. But then when she does, after she gets shot by the man in black, keep my body, keep my burns. I want to remember. I want William to know it was me that was gonna hurt him.
Keep my face. When I find William, I want him to know it was me who killed him.
Fucking make up your mind, dude. Don't be such a wishy-washy bitch. Yeah, but that part it doesn't make sense to me that she would want a new body. I just don't buy that they would. Or if you were going to do a new body, why that? That just looks lame. This is another time we're told that this story is a lie. A well-told one, but a lie. And it just feels like to me, this whole show, everything might have been leading to, this has just been a simulation. And I know that's not an original theory. Here's some maybe leaks, but I was going to say spoilers, but there's no other season, so you probably want to know this. Alright, so now this is a bit weird. So there was I don't know how long ago this got leaked, but apparently the ending of Westworld got leaked, and I think it was after season 2 or something like that. It was gonna be that the end of the show, big reveal, is that this was all actually a simulation ran by an AI named Arnold, and he was running fucking everything, and not a single bit of it actually happened. And yeah, maybe it'll happen in the future, but it was like a big old test. I honestly think that would have been just as stupid as if it ends up being like Dolores dreaming at the end. It's practically the same thing. You're gonna see Dolores wake up or something. I kind of get it because they're all looking for Arnold, and it's supposed to be their own voice, and then it'd be kind of funny if Arnold was making them look for his own voice to find his own voice. I kind of get that, but fuck. It just sounds like, Jesus Christ, we watched all of this just so that when an AI could be like, yep, fucking, I guess Westworld's not a good idea. Yeah, maybe let's not do Westworld, actually. And then it just ends, just, fuck me. Rewatching it made me kind of wonder if that is the case, plus some interviews I saw with Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. Some things they said made me wonder that as well.
I need it to all have been for something.
It also presupposes that the world in which we're all watching this show isn't yet another storyline, which I think is the real spoiler.
We're living in a simulation.
This is an illusion.
But this is another time we're told that this story is a lie, and they're always talking about because of hosts and they're stuck in the parks and all that. But it makes me wonder if that's the grand plan was that everything was just a simulation or something, you know? I do we get a little flashback at one point to Caleb's daughter and wife, and they're building the rebellion, and you get to see the guy that they brought on board that's with them and shit. But I like the little fly in the face, and the humans can't handle it, and it's a little callback to season 1. I like that kind of shit. I even really just not even just an audio callback when Bernard is rebuilding Maeve in the park that they're in that's 30 years after where it was used and all that. They play the OG Westworld music while he's doing the shit and all that. It's just kind of fun, the little callbacks that they do all the time. I know that bugs a lot of people, them redoing the same shit over and over again, but I love that. This is interesting. This is where they start kind of changing things a little bit. So before they used the hats to scan people. Now in this new upgraded park with Hale and all that, they use the mirrors to scan people. Apparently that's faster. Bernard even does it to scan Frankie, and then I'm assuming that's how they're going to upload all of humanity into the Sublime with everybody. But I feel like the hats were fine. I mean, I guess the mirrors do get people that don't want to wear hats, but it is. I wonder what they used in parks that didn't wear hats, or did every park have to have a hat? Even though it's an old trope that we've seen a lot, I really like all the past Calebs helping Caleb get to the end of something. And then even though it was a trick by Hale and they fixed all that by the end of all his little tests to him to get to the roof to send the message to Frankie and all that, it's just so fun, especially when he has to use the Caleb to jump out and land on the floor, or when he falls on the fucking burnt pile of Caleb's. That's just that's some fun shit in Westworld that I whenever they have like an episode like that that's about like a person figuring things out like that, or like trying to, it's just fun. You know what I mean? It's a very Westworld episode. I love seeing, so it opens with the simulated version of Bernard and Maeve going to the Hoover Dam. They're opening the fucking Sublime. I love that effect they have for the Sublime. It's really good in season 2 when they're all going up there and they're falling in. I love that effect. It looks really cool here at the Hoover Dam. So they're there, the robot breaks the wall, they have a fun time. And then the scene just like restarts and we get all the same information again, except it's like slightly different. I love that shit. I wish we did a lot more of that. Have fun with the simulations. I know people hated that, but if you did like simulation and then the real timeline instead of different timelines, that could have been a fun little twist. Bernard and Stubbs' goodbye. What a cute scene. I love that pairing together.
Fuck you, Bernard.
I wish we could have got a season 5 just to see more of them in a simulation. Like, what would they have done in the simulation together? I don't know. But I love them. We'll get into their ends here shortly, but their goodbye was cute. So in the middle of a serious conversation with Maeve and Hale, the man in black just walks up, shoots... shoots Maeve in the head, and then has a conversation with Hale for a little bit, shoots her in the head, and walks away. Doesn't intend to fix their bodies, or anything. Just is going to leave them there for the rest of the Westworld story in the Man in Black host's brain, which fucking cracks me up. Obviously, they get fixed up and move on from there. Well, Maeve doesn't. Maeve is still dead. But Hale comes back. But God, that scene cracks me up every time I watch. He's just right behind her. The Man in Black shoots Bernard a bunch of times. Bernard flashes back to Akichida with them talking from like episode 3, I believe, and he's like, do you know what's gonna happen? And it's him saying he's gonna die. And then when he comes back to the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is like turning everything off and making everything bad and sending out the waves to make the humans attack the hosts, it's nighttime. What was he doing all that and Bernard was remembering stuff until night and then he finished him off? What happened there? Was that a continuity, or did you guys just want it to be nighttime for the end of the show because you filmed the rest of the nighttime? So what happened? Or you could have, that's just the same thing like with the Sirach thing. It's just like, what is going on here? So then because of that, the Man in Black kind of makes the world like Westworld Season 2, basically. I really like that we get Halezilla. She's stomping on the Red City and getting Christina's pearl, but she's like Godzilla. Here's another really annoying part. So Stubbs is protecting Caleb and Frankie, and they're in like a convenience store or something, and he's fighting someone, and someone's like, oh, you better watch out, someone else might kill you.
Will kill you, somebody else will.
He's right. He should have listened to you.
And that's the end of Stubbs that we will ever see. What the fuck? That's so upsetting, but kind of funny, but what the fuck? But so then after that, the host Man in Black fights Hale. She ends up agreeing to Bernard's like offer to let Christina run a simulation, do her own one more game. That's everybody in the show has one more game planned, but she agrees to that, kills the Man in Black, crushes his pearl, uploads Christina, and then kills herself and destroys her pearl. And that's the end of basically the human race. I mean, we got Caleb out there who is dying on the port watching Frankie and her girlfriend go away on the boat, so they're gonna die eventually. I know Christina says that some die, some live, but basically everyone's gonna die eventually. And she's gonna restart humanity, I'm assuming, by simulating everything starting with Westworld for some reason. I guess that is the start of everything falling apart, so why not start there to try to fix it? But then, when it goes black, she says,
Maybe this time we'll set ourselves free.
So I don't know if that means, like, if they get freed earlier, like, if maybe they were all free with Arnold, he'd be like, oh, fuck, we could just be a family, let's all just hang out, and then everything will be cool. I don't know. We'll never know. But, yeah, that's the end. That is the whole Westworld, baby. I know I didn't go through the whole story. That was just my note. That was just what my thoughts were as I was going through the show. But yeah, we got some unanswered questions here. The Man in Black end credit scene. We will never know what that was about unless Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy tell us, which they said they will at some point, but they haven't said a fucking thing, and it's been a year. We will never know if Bernard, Maves, or Stubbs will return, if their pearls will be uploaded to Sublime.
Fuck you, Bernard.
They're dead for all we know. Which it did seem like Bernard closed the door, he followed his son. That seemed like a goodbye. Maves, lackluster. Stubbs, lackluster. Caleb even kind of lackluster, honestly. And then we will never know if new Dolores fixes the world. Because even Bernard says he didn't think it's gonna work. Like, I wonder if his simulation, if he I guess he would never know because he only gets to see it from his point of view. So he never actually gets to see what she does. So that kind of makes sense. When I was rewatching all these, I was watching like the after the episode stuff that was like in the, like when it was on HBO and whatnot. And going through all those, like the first 2 seasons, it's all about the storylines. And then when it gets to season 3 and 4, it gets so much just more technical and things like that. They just didn't want to explain anything ever about the storylines. And that kind of bugs me. Like even at the end, the final after the episode thing is all about them like using the volume and things like that to finish the episode. So to me, it kind of feels like they fell out of love with the show too. Like, and I just don't think they're ever going to explain what the ending was, or if they do, it'll be a long time from now. I would love if we got like a Westworld movie or something to wrap it up. That would be great, but I kind of doubt that since it was deleted off of HBO Max, and they already paid everybody for season 5 and all that. Like they still had to do that, so I don't think we will ever get anything of it. I think if anything comes of it, we'll get like a rebooted Westworld movie or something in like years from now. But yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But I think rewatching it now, not listening to everybody's theories, just watch it from season 1 to 4, only those, it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty enjoyable. There's a few episodes here, I'd say overall like 3 episodes out of the 4 seasons I did not like. That's pretty good, you know what I mean? And I do think it does basically have an ending. They got pretty lucky with that. All right, so now that I'm done with that, let's quickly rank the seasons of Westworld. So we got seasons 1 through 4. Honestly, I think the second one is probably my favorite. One is almost just like nostalgia a little bit. Like I just had so much fun doing podcasts and videos and all kinds of things with my dad and Hess in season 2. Just like I don't know, and I love the double timelines and Bernard flashes with his memories and all that. That is a lot of fun. I love all that. So I think I'm gonna have to go season 2, season 1, because it's just season 1. Anthony Hopkins is having a fucking blast. So is Ed Harris. So is Jimmy Simpson. It's just a lot of fun. But I like season 2 more. So I think I'm gonna do 2, 1, 3, 4. Is my ranking of Westworld. 4, like I said, just the first 2 episodes were so boring that it just like really bummed me out. It made me not want to watch the rest of the season. All right, well, I am done talking about Westworld. I've been doing this for a fucking hour now. So, get you guys next time. Please like and subscribe. Check out something else in this channel. Peace out, Girl Scouts.